Hey guys, and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial video. In this one we're going to be taking a look at these diagonal sugarcane farms right here, which are completely automatic. Unless you don't want them to be automatic, I guess you could set them to be manual as well. But the first thing I should probably say about these is that I know it looks like we have like a really weird farm design here. We have one component on the right and one on the left, but it's not like that. These are actually two different variations of the farm which you can build, and they're pretty much the same farm. They're pretty much the same farm in all ways, apart from the fact that the one on the left here only has one side of pistons and one side of sugarcane, whereas the one on the right has two sides. So this is kind of like a dual-sided version or a full version, and this is like the half version. So obviously the one on the left, you could build this on the side of a cliff or on the side of a ravine or something like that, or wherever you find the space to do so. And the same with the other one, except probably not on the side of the ravine. You probably build it in more open spaces and things like that. So another thing I should mention about this farm is that it's not 100% efficient. So if you're searching for that, if you're searching for the most efficient farm design, this thing is not it. If you go into YouTube, you'll probably be able to find much more efficient farm designs which work a lot better. Obviously, in this one, a lot of the sugarcane is actually lost on the blocks, and that actually happens in most designs. That actually pretty much happens in all designs. So I'd be pretty surprised if you could find one which loses no sugarcane. But just a prior warning, I have seen a lot of sugarcane actually falling down onto the blocks. So another thing I should mention is that this thing will take a lot of patience to build, and it will take a lot of pistons to build as well. So you'll need quite a bit of iron, so it would be useful if you had an iron farm or something like that. Or if you just went mining quite a lot and got yourself some iron, that would be pretty useful. The redstone is extremely simple, as you can see at the back here. It's just a torch tower line and some diagonal kind of strips of redstone dust. And if you just take a look at that, I'll just give you a look just in case you can just see this and go on and actually build this thing, because it is very, very simple indeed. And it's not really a modular design. It's kind of like you can carry on building it for as long as you want. But anyway, I'm just going to get into this and show you how these things actually work. So if we take a look at this, some of the sugarcane has grown to the second height right there. And if I flick this lever here, this is obviously the redstone input. All of the pistons will extend. So you can obviously wire this up to like a redstone clock or something like that. And if I flick it again, then with a lot of lag, the pistons will retract. And that reminds me, this thing, if you have like more than one module, it will cause a little bit of lag. So that's another thing. If you have it like firing on a redstone clock, then all of the pistons firing will cause a little bit of lag. But I unfortunately can't really help with that. And the same thing for this one. So if you fire this piston right here, both of the sides will fire, and if we press this lever right here again, both of the sides will retract. Alright, so I thought I'd just bring you down into my survival world just to show you how this would look if you actually built it, and also some of the things which you can actually do with this farm, because as you can see here, I have several modules. I actually have 5 modules here, all tiled together diagonally, because of course they are diagonal farms, so you can go and build loads of these next to each other, and I'll show you how to do that later on in the tutorial. And you can also connect these things together with a redstone line, which means that you can use one redstone clock to actually activate all of them at once, which is quite useful, although it does mean that you get a lot of lag. So as you can see, all of the pistons just fired there together. So I guess one thing which I would say is if you want to have an individual redstone clock for each of them, I think that would probably be better, and you should just set them at different times so they fire at different times. That would save you a little bit of lag in your world. Actually, that's a little bit of an improvement on the farm already. But this just goes to show why I'm actually doing this tutorial. It's not because this farm is super efficient or anything, it's mainly just because it looks awesome. So getting into the actual tutorial here, you need to go and find your building block of the farm. So in this case I've used iron, and I'm going to use iron again just because it's quite easy to see. You can use anything you want, but this is a good idea of how that will look. So you want to go and get yourself an open space to actually build this thing. First up, I'm going to be building the half design, which is on the other side over there. And you want to go and place in your blocks diagonally for 16 blocks. So you want to count 16 blocks, but this is just an arbitrary kind of number. You can keep going as far or as little as you want, so you can build these as per your own specifications. That is completely up to you. Then you want to go and get yourself some dirt. You can't actually use sand in this farm because the sand will obviously fall down. And you want to go and place those directly diagonal to the other strip right there, all the way till the end. And you want to go and fill in water buckets into each of these 1 block holes. Now this is the bit which will probably be really annoying and take really long, because you have to do these for each and every one of the levels of your sugarcane farm. I would recommend having 3 levels, by the way, but that's just me. So next up, you want to grab some sugarcane and go and place each of them on each of the dirt blocks, going all the way to the end like so. So that was pretty easy indeed. And then we want to go and actually build in our pistons. Now this is also pretty simple. So you want to go 2 blocks above the line of blocks which you've already placed. And we're going to create another diagonal up here. So you can have blocks going along like this. And what I'm going to do, just for the purpose of this tutorial, you don't need to do this if you don't want to, although it kind of does make it a little bit easier to build. I'm going to go and get rid of all of these blocks and just replace them with slabs, just so you can see the diagonals from above a little bit better. And so you want to go all the way till the end with that. But another thing is that you can either leave this section sort of empty, or you can go ahead and actually place in glowstone as well to light up the farm every so often. So this is an alternative placement of the glowstone, because we actually have another place we can place the glowstone as well. But it kind of looks as if the farm is slightly floating, which looks quite cool if you have no blocks underneath here, which is what I tend to do. So I would advise that if you do want to go for it. But yeah, we just need to build this all the way till the end. So now we want to get some redstone and go and snake the redstone all the way along these blocks which we've just created, so we can connect up all of the pistons and they can all activate all at once. And these 2 blocks at the end, we don't actually need them, because this redstone of course connects to the last piston. And now we want to create ourselves a torch tower, which is also pretty simple. I did say that the redstone was quite simple right here, and it really is. So we want to go and break this block here and add in, we've sort of added in blocks directly adjacent to the first block in this diagonal row right here. That sounded quite complicated. And we want to go and add in a torch at the bottom and a torch at the top, which is pretty much your torch tower done. But now, just to test which pistons actually work, we want to go and add in a lever at the bottom, just so you can see that obviously the pistons only extend up till this bit right here, and then they stop extending. So we need to go and find out which block of redstone dust actually has 0 power, and that is this block right here. So if you look right there, you can see when you click the F3 menu, the debug screen, then you can find which block has, you know, what power. And in this case, this block has the 0 power. So what we want to go and do is place a block directly adjacent to that and add in a redstone repeater right here, and also add in a bit of redstone dust there. And that is pretty much the first layer of your farm done. To create the second layer is just as easy. You want to go and place in blocks on top of each and every one of these pistons like so. And these are going to be the blocks where the water is sort of going to be on top of. And then you want to go and place in blocks on top of each of these bits of redstone dust, all the way along till the end. And you want to go and actually get yourself some dirt, obviously, because this is what we're going to be placing the sugarcane on top of again. And each piece of dirt which you place should be above the sort of piece of dirt on the bottom row. And a good way to actually place these is to go every other block, place in a little bit of dirt, and actually place dirt on either side of that, like so, which is a pretty efficient and easy method to go as quickly as possible with this, especially when you're in survival mode. So once you've done that, you need to make sure that each of the pieces of dirt obviously align with one at the bottom. So over here we don't have that, and at the end right here we need another iron block just so that the water, which will be right here, won't fall out. We need to go and get ourselves a water bucket now, and or many water buckets, and fill each and every one of these up with water. And once you've done that, you can go in and place in your sugarcane again. Once you've got all of your sugarcane in, you want to go to the back here and extend up your torch tower, which just involves placing a block right there and placing another redstone torch on top. And now we can extend it again and place another redstone torch just in preparation for the next layer, because I'm actually going to be building 3 layers to this farm. Obviously you can go as high or as low as you want. And now we're going to place in the next set of diagonals just so we can place in the next set of pistons. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with the slabs and the blocks like this, alternating them all the way till the end like so. So once we've got all of the blocks in just like we had below, we want to go in and add loads and loads of redstone again. It's probably a good idea to actually add in the pistons first, but it doesn't matter really which way around you do it. And then it's a good idea to go and find that same point, which will actually be above the one on the layer below, and we can actually go add in our redstone repeater and another slab right there, or another block, and connect up our redstone. So now this goes all the way till the end. You can see the particle effects in that one. And now we can add in our pistons, so we can tell whether the pistons are going to fire or not. So clearly this piston isn't going to fire, so we need a piece of redstone there. And we're going to continue adding in all of the pistons down to the other side like so, just checking whether each of these things actually fire or not, which is a good way of knowing whether you've built the farm correctly or not. And that is pretty much the second layer done. So to repeat, the third one is the exact same thing, just on the top side, which is very simple indeed. You just want to go and place in loads of blocks on top of each and every one of these pistons, and place in lots and lots of blocks on top of each of these dots of redstone, going all the way to the end. And then you want to get your dirt in, so you want to go every other block and place in pieces of dirt like this, all the way till the end. And then you want to go and do the pretty annoying task now of having to go and place in all of the water, because obviously if you're in survival, it's going to be quite hard to keep going and running up to these layers and adding in all of the water. But I guess it is all worth it in the end for what you're going to get out of this. Then you want to go place in your sugarcane, and you pretty much know the story after that one. So once you're at the top, you've practically finished your farm. You can keep going if you want to in either direction, but what I like to do right at the top, just so mobs can't actually spawn on top of this thing, since they already can't spawn on top of the redstone, I get myself some nice stained glass. I think black stained glass works the best, and I go and snake the blocks of glass on top of each of the pistons like this, so we get this really cool looking effect at the top. And I think this looks really nice from a distance, and it also looks even better when the pistons aren't extended like this. So if we go down here, flick the lever, then all of the pistons will become retracted, and this is pretty much your finished farm. The last thing I would say is at the back of the farm, it would be a good idea to add in some glowstone, something like this, or you can go in and add in some torches as well if you're looking to. Or if you prefer, you could add in some jack-o'-lanterns as well, but they are just some examples of some ways you could actually light up your farm. Some things look a little bit better than other things. I think glowstone suits the best because it kind of gets very well obscured by the sugarcane, and pumpkins don't really look the best, jack-o'-lanterns that is, and torches are quite obscure as well. So it's completely up to you how you light this thing up. So moving on to how to build the two-sided version, what you want to do if you want to build it directly next to another farm as well, I'll show you how to tile them together. So you probably want to go out at least 6 blocks from the other farm. That's a good idea, because obviously you don't want these pistons to fire the sugarcane onto the other farm. That would increase your losses by a lot. And then you want to go in and add in your diagonal at this level right here. You can obviously match it with the other farm if you want to make it really look quite cool. So you see we have 6 blocks of difference right here, and that is the best way to create your farms together and build them, tile them together. So you can find, carry on the dirt all the way till the edge right here, and add in your iron blocks or the other blocks which you want to, just as normal, just as we did with the other farm. But then what you want to do is go and add in another set of iron blocks directly parallel to that. So it's like building the mirror image of the farm on the other side, and it's pretty much the same thing as we've always been doing for the last farm, but it's just kind of replicating everything on 2 sides like so. Then you want to go in and add in loads and loads of water in each and every one of these 1 block holes that we've made. When all of your water is in place, you can also go and add in all of your sugarcane, just like we've been doing on all of the dirt blocks like so. And you can also add in some glowstone every couple of blocks in these 1 block holes that we have here. And that's a good way of kind of hiding your glowstone in the, in amongst all of the blocks like so, rather than having it kind of exposed like in this farm. So that's just an aside, but that's pretty useful thing that you can do. You can go now and add in a block just where you want your torch tower to be at the end of at one end of your farm. You're gonna go and add a redstone torch on top of that, and basically just start the torch tower like so. And then you want 2 blocks either side of that, and we're gonna build the diagonal directly from this torch tower right here. So we want to go and add in a block or a slab. You can go and do this with blocks like this if you want to, but I'm just going to add in the slabs just so it's easier for you to see how the diagonal looks, or how it should look if you're building this in your survival world or looking at it from above like so. So you get how this should work. It should be in line with the center right there, and you want to continue this all the way until the end. Once you've got all of those in, it's time for some more pistons to be placed. So we want to go and this time we're going to place the pistons in on both sides. And again, keep a note of each of the pistons and whether it actually impacts any sugarcane at all. Obviously we don't need a piston here because it's not going to impact any sugarcane. So make sure there's a piece of sugarcane adjacent to each of the pistons. And also make sure when you're actually placing in the pistons that you place them in so they fire the sugarcane all in one direction. So these pistons are firing the sugarcane kind of that way, and these ones are firing them that way as well. But you could place in the pistons like this, but it would actually make the farm look very like asymmetric, and it wouldn't look good. So it's a good idea to have them all facing in the same direction. But anyway, we just need to go and continue doing that like so. Very simple indeed. And remember, you need 1 to each piece of sugarcane, so don't forget the last one over there. You want to go in and also place in all of your redstone like so. And soon we're going to get to that point again where we need to go and do the redstone repeater thing, and we need to go and extend the signal. And we've obviously passed that point right there. We don't actually need these 3 blocks at the end, by the way, because obviously these 2 pistons are activated by that redstone. And all we need to go and do here is get ourselves a redstone repeater, get to the point which has 0 power, which is this one right here, and place down a redstone repeater. And that is pretty much it. It is very, very simple indeed to extend this farm. You can put this in any direction and it will still work. Obviously not in the opposite direction, that won't work. But as long as the power sort of extends all the way to the end, you are pretty much done with the first layer of your farm. Next, you want to do the same thing which we've been doing for all of the other layers on the other farm, and go and place in blocks on top of each and every one of these pistons. You should be looking at something a little bit like this, and you want to go and place in each block on top of each piece of redstone, not the middle pieces of redstone though, just the blocks on the edge here. But the thing is that you may actually want to fill in the middle blocks, at least temporarily, with dirt or something like that, because now you're going to be placing in the dirt on either side like we've already done. And in these sections, obviously, we're going to have the water. So if you accidentally place water in these blocks here, all of your redstone is going to be wiped out pretty much. So that is going to be really, really terrible. And you're going to have to go and place in all of that again. So obviously, you don't want that to happen. So it's a good idea to either be really, really careful when you're placing in this water, or just cover up all of those holes. So after placing in all of the sugarcane and the water, you should be looking at something like this, except on the far end, you actually will have to add in a couple of iron blocks, which was a little bit of a mistake I made. So you can actually put in the last pieces of sugarcane and water. But that is pretty much all of that done. So you want to go again to the other side and extend up our torch tower. Make sure the torch is off, and then the next torch should be on. Perfect. And now we want to go and add in our next layer of slabs in this case, and hole blocks. Of course, you don't need to use slabs. I'm just going to say that again. And this thing needs to go all the way along to the edge. So there actually is a little bit of an easier way to add in all of your redstone, or a little bit more of an efficient way, and that is to go like this in a kind of a different diagonal shape, I guess, going 2 blocks along and then changing direction, going 2 blocks along, changing direction, and continuing with that all the way to the end. But at the end, you need to actually add in an extra piece of redstone dust on this jaggedy bit right here. And obviously you want to go and get your repeater, and this time you can only put your repeater in this direction, and that will activate all of this redstone. So now you can go and save on your redstone if you want to do it this way. The only reason I had the other way of just spamming everything with redstone in the other layer when I built that, it's just because it's a lot easier to do, and I guess people tend to have a lot of redstone dust. It's not too expensive of a commodity in Minecraft, so it's up to you what you want to do, but this is definitely the more efficient way of conserving your redstone. But once you get to the end, you actually need to go and place in another piece of redstone here, so that piston gets activated as well. You can test that everything is working by flicking the lever and checking that all of the pistons are in, and now all of the pistons should be out. So now you can go and do the next layer, which is of course exactly the same as all of the rest of them. But just another precautionary tip here: if you have all of the blocks covered in redstone, then it's a lot easier to do the next step of adding in all of these blocks, because you always have a piece of redstone dust underneath, and it will be a lot easier to actually add in these blocks. So that's just something to consider. One very last thing which you may want to consider here with your farm, if you want to make it look a little bit better, then you could sacrifice the sugarcane growing to be 3 high and actually add in some slabs like this, which would make it look a lot better. And also, if you do this sort of as you're building the farm, then it will make it easier to go and place in all of the dirt. So you just place in a slab underneath all of the dirt blocks which you place in, and that will look a little bit better. And you'd be wondering, why would you you're probably wondering, why do you want to kind of lose that extra piece of sugarcane? But the thing is that your redstone clock, which is what I'm going to show you in just a bit, will probably be set so fast that the sugarcane won't really get a chance to actually grow up to be 3 blocks tall anyway. So there's not much point of actually having it to grow to 3 blocks tall. It's better to just go and harvest all of the sugarcane while it grows, and so it doesn't really make any difference if it grows to 3. And if it was 3 high, there would also be much more chance that the sugarcane would fall on the blocks anyway, so you wouldn't be gaining much if you had the 3 high sugarcane. But that is another thing which you can customize with this farm. Last up is connecting together some of these modules, just to show you how you could actually connect these things together and have them fire all in sync all at once. I'm just going to show you how to connect 2 of them together, so you kind of get the idea. So what you need to do is go and get some repeaters set to 3 ticks, which means you right click them twice, facing into the bottom block of the redstone torch towers on each of these strips. And then you need to go and build yourself a redstone hopper clock. So you want to go ahead and put in 2 pistons with 2 blocks in the middle. You want to add in a redstone block right there, and add in a couple of hoppers facing directly into each other, which you can do by actually shift clicking into there. And then you want to have 2 comparators, one coming out of each of these hoppers, and then you need two full blocks on either side of those, and you need a couple of dots of redstone dust in the leftover spaces basically, and that is pretty much your hopper clock done. Then what you want is a redstone repeater next to either one of these blocks. So you could either put it here right next to the redstone block, or you could put it on the other side here. I'm going to go for this one, and then you need to go add in a sticky piston one block beneath that, and add in another whole block on top of that. And once you've done that, you are pretty much done to go and connect up these redstone repeaters right here, just ensuring that none of the redstone interacts with this dot of redstone here, or you'll probably have a little bit of a problem. And then you want to go and put in about 32 items into this hopper, and that should be perfect. So as you saw, everything fired right there, and also all of the pistons retracted. So this creates a sort of a redstone pulse every so often, which will harvest all of the sugarcane. And so if we wait just for it to fire again, you'll see that pretty soon the redstone line will be activated, and all of the pistons will fire. And there we have it, a fully functioning diagonal sugarcane farm. So the only thing that's left to do possibly is to go and make in a storage system. Of course, I'm not going to do a storage system in this tutorial just because it would take extremely long. But if you do want to build one, then the water streams are extremely similar, or pretty much the same as the water streams I built in the cactus farm tutorial video, so you can go back and check those out. I'll leave a link in the description to that. And you just need to use a dropper item elevator to actually transport all of the sugarcane up to the surface or up to your storage system, and then you will be pretty much done. So that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope it's been kind of useful to you. If you do have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to go down below and comment, and feel free to subscribe as well. But anyway, that's it for today, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.